Chapter 7. Escape. Emma's vision swam. Her muscles refused to act as the colorless, odorless gas filled her lungs. If it weren't for the physical effects, she'd doubt its presence. Her limbs hung like lead, unmovable. Pierce's narrow, angular face loomed above her, moving like a phantom. The plastic window of his mask distorted his face like fog glass. No concern or hurry in his movements. Ryan struggled with the doctor's remaining pet zombies outside of her old cell. With his gun empty, he embedded his knife into the skull of one. It had collapsed in a heap, leaving only one more monster for him to deal with. His superhuman efforts unfazed by the muscle relaxant flooding the room.
Don't fight it, Emma. Let the sedative do its work. It'll be easier for you in the long run. Your friend will die at the hands of my zombies, but you'll live on. At least part of you will.
Emma clutched a case of vials to her chest, her body sliding down the wall. The impact drove a spike of pain into her tailbone. Her mind raced, looking for a way out as her limbs grew heavier. She needed more time to form an escape plan. A distraction for her to run, if only her legs would cooperate.
Why? Why me?
She forced the words out through numbing lips. Random thoughts swirled through her mind, making it difficult to think. Her limbs refused to budge. Pierce kneeled beside her, checking her pulse like a paramedic at an accident scene. When he responded, he sounded detached.
You're 1 in a billion. You possess a unique genetic structure where the virus can't replicate in your body. It's full stop when it encounters your blood. A miracle.
Without looking in her eyes, Pierce pulled a syringe filled with clear fluid from his coat pocket. He tapped the side, eliminating the air bubble.
Your antibodies attack the virus in a way I've never seen, in ways that nobody has ever seen before. I spent months studying your immune response, but the process I've used so far is too inefficient. It's time to up the ante.
The increasing fog threatened to shut her mind down. Emma watched as Ryan fought with the last zombie, feeling powerless to help him. With his knife lodged in the skull of the last beast he fell, Ryan fought barehanded. It snapped its teeth, swinging its baton wildly. He ducked and weaved, deflecting each attack. A dance of death he would soon tire of. Pierce focused on Emma, not noticing the downfall of his undead bodyguards. She wanted to cheer Ryan on, but stalled for time instead.
What are you going to do to me?
Pierce's swarmy smile showed through the fog window of his mask. He checked the needle a second time. At least he hadn't stabbed her with it yet.
This time, I'm going to refine the research process. The previous method required too much of your blood. They can't drain you dry if you want to continue my experiments. I'll isolate the specific antibody so you can regenerate before insinuation. True, you'll experience some minor discomfort, but saving the many sometimes demands the sacrifice of the one. How many others have you killed? Only subject 13 out of the original 25 subjects survived phase 1 of the testing. You're the lucky one. Their sacrifices and your immunity have paved the way for phase 2.
Emma fought to keep her eyes open, her head drooping to one side. Ryan sidestepped the zombie's attack, trapping its arm against his body. He dodged the snapping jaws, breaking the monster's wrist. Ryan stripped the baton away from the useless arm. His blow shattered the zombie's jaw, leaving the killing machine without a weapon. Ryan looked exhausted, but it didn't stop him from smashing its skull, dropping the walking corpse into a heap. All 4 zombie pets down. He stood, breathing heavily, a blood-soaked baton gripped in his hand. His eyes focused on the sealed lab doors. Pierce turned, following her gaze. His eyes rested on Ryan. He shook his head, frowning.
Your friend is persistent, Emma. He'll get his due, having no value to me.
Emma let the metal case slip from her fingers, sensing an opening. As she hoped, Pierce dove for it. She ducked her head, driving her shoulder into his chest. The syringe flew from his hand as she tackled him like a defensive lineman blindsliding a quarterback. They tumbled onto the floor.
Ryan, get to the control panel.
Her voice projected across the room stronger than she had expected. She watched Ryan sprint toward the computer terminal. With her strength waning, Emma grappled with Pierce on the floor, holding him fast. The room dimmed as Pierce's elbow caught her square in the temple. He squirmed free, attempting to get his feet under him. Emma grabbed his ankle, dropping him onto his face. She heard something snap. His calm facade cracked.
"You ungrateful little bitch!"
His hand went to the device on his ear. Emma clawed at the neural transmitter, tearing a piece of his ear off as she freed the device. She crushed it on the floor, leaving a pile of broken parts and a smear of bloody goo behind. Pierce howled in a combination of rage and pain, trying to stanch the flow of blood from his damaged ear.
"Emma, I need a code. Any ideas?"
Pierce cackled. He looked insane, clasping his bloody ear, his once pristine lab coat now torn, stained by his free-flowing blood.
"You'll never guess my code. I designed this facility. My security. Try 031513.
Emma remembered her admission date from her journal entries, March 15th, the 13 being her subject number. How long had Pierce obsessed over her? The lights flickered as the metal shutters groaned. Within seconds, the lab doors became visible. Exhaust fans roared, clearing the remaining sedative gas from the air. Her head cleared along with the air in the room. Pierce scrambled away from Emma toward the console. Ryan intercepted Pierce, delivering a roundhouse to the doctor's head. His knees buckled from the cop's blow, falling to his knees. With the upper hand, Ryan kicked him in his stomach. Pierce gasped from the blow, crashing onto a shelf of lab equipment. The shelf tipped, shattering glass across the floor. What a mess. Emma forced herself onto her feet, fighting the sedative's ill effects. She shook her head, trying to rid herself of the last of the brain fog. Her hand scooped up the vials. The cure. Pierce pulled himself into a sitting position, spitting a wad of blood onto the floor.
"You can't stop this. The military has a sample of your blood. Even if I don't help them, they'll continue the research without me. You're condemning humanity to extinction."
Emma shook her head, staring at the broken man. His impotent threat didn't scare her anymore. He had no more answers for her.
"Ryan, let's get out of here."
They turned away from him, strolling through the open lab doors, looking like two war refugees. Alarms blared. Red strobe lights flashed the moment they stepped through the lab doors. It looked like a dance party from hell. Emma and Ryan froze. They turned back toward the lab. Pierce stood on shaky legs in front of the computer terminal. A sneer bent his thin lips. She willed him to collapse in a heap, die on his feet. But he remained upright, looking like one of his pet creatures.
"Not so fast, Emma."
He spat another wad of blood onto the floor, wiping his mouth with his sleeve. All concern for his appearance gone.
"Initiate emergency protocol Omega. Dr. Eugene Pierce."
Pierce spoke the words, mashing a button on the computer workstation. The lab doors, along with a matching set at the top of the stairs, groaned shut. They sprinted up the stairs, taking them two at a time. Ryan jammed the baton into the door jamb, preventing the bookcase from slamming shut. Pierce's insane laughter echoed off the walls from below. Emma couldn't tell if it got closer or not. She scanned the debris, looking for a way out. "Now what?" Emma asked. "We get the hell out of here before we're trapped," Ryan said. Emma clutched the case to her chest as they navigated the mess in Dr. Pierce's public lab. They balanced the need to hurry with the need not to break an ankle. Her muscles still felt heavy from the sedative's effects. Why hadn't it affected Ryan? As they reached the door, a new sound joined the alarm. Metal doors groaned, releasing zombies both inside the lab and on the other side of the land bridge. Their path filled with the living dead. "He's releasing more of his monsters." Emma heard the concern in Ryan's voice. He grabbed the fire extinguisher off the wall, taking a page from her playbook. She grabbed an abandoned mop, breaking the handle near the string end. The pointed end left behind would do the job. What had once been an obese middle-aged man lunged at them. Ryan swung the extinguisher, crushing its skull. It fell backward, taking two of its friends with it. They stepped around the pile, racing through the land bridge. Emma drove the pointed end of her mop handle into the eye socket of a tall, slim man around 30. Its bowels hung out from a jagged hole in its gut. The momentum of his fall yanked the stick from her weakened hands. She found herself unarmed. Not good. Emma, in here! Ryan pointed to a door marked Stairwell 6. He yanked the door open, dragging her inside, slamming it shut behind. I assume that door won't hold them for long. Should we go up or down? Ryan asked.
We need to go up. To the roof. If we destroy the transmitter, we can stop the enhanced zombies. Stop Pierce and the military in one shot.
They raced up the stairs, listening to the threatening sounds coming from below. The zombies pounded against the metal exit door. It creaked and groaned under their barrage. Emma pushed on, her legs burning from the lactic acid. Only the determination to live kept her moving.
What do we do about Pierce?
Ryan struggled with the words between his labored breaths. She didn't know how much longer she could climb either. It felt like the stairway grew longer with each step they took.
He made poor life choices. Leave him to the monsters.
The words sounded cruel to her own ears. What kind of person was she? Her returning memories scared her.
The 12th floor. We're almost there. 2 more.
Ryan's ragged breathing worried her. Part of her felt like she needed the cops' protection. The returning memories told her otherwise. Emma hoped she hadn't been as evil as Dr. Pierce, but something told her she might have been something even worse. A monster's monster. Fight it! Her muscles burned from a relentless climb up the stairs while her body fought the effects of the sedative. She needed to marshal some superhuman strength. Each step carried her further from Pierce's lab, closer to freedom. Emma just needed to keep moving. After what felt like for hours, they reached the helipad access door. The roof. A keypad glowed red next to it. Ryan stood in front of it, stroking his chin. Both of them stared while catching their breath. Think it's the same code? Ryan asked. Emma shook her head, trying to think. Various combinations of numbers tumbled through her mind. She concentrated, attempting to make some connections.
Try 5927.
She watched Ryan punch the numbers in. The keypad beeped in response to each digit. Then it flashed red. Nothing. The door below them crashed in. A scuffle. Then the crashing feet of a dozen zombies heading their way. Time's up. They had found their way into the stairwell. Think, Emma! She heard the urgency in Ryan's voice. Her heart raced. Emma closed her eyes, taking a deep breath, forcing her mind to focus through the lingering fog of the sedative. A fragment of memory played like an old movie on a black and white television. Pierce punching in a code while she watched from a gurney.
7249.
Ryan paused, his hand hovering over the numbers. He looked back at Emma, and she nodded. His fingers punched the sequence in. The keypad flashed green. The door slid open. They rushed through, finding themselves inside a small shelter next to the helicopter landing pad. A metallic groan drew her attention from behind. The door slid closed, trapping them outside under a darkening sky. She hoped this door would hold back the horde while they plotted their next move.